Welcome back to another episode of the Rush Beat podcast. Guys, it's been a while. That's all totally my fault. Oh my God. I'm the worst. I know I'm the worst. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I've been having some issues with traveling and moving and just a bunch of different stuff that has taken me away from my computer, from CS, from recording, from producing, from doing all the fun stuff that lets you guys hear my wonderful, wonderful voice, which is actually a little bit scratchy right now. It's because it's cold. It's really friggin' cold in the U.S. I live on the East Coast, in the Northeast region, so it's like, what was it today? It was almost like 11 degrees today on the Sunday that I'm recording this. Just absolutely brutal. So I think my voice is getting to it. So as I keep recording this podcast, it might get worse and worse and worse and worse. So I'll be trying to get to bed early and all that stuff. So I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone that has been following the podcast in 2017, everyone that is going to be joining me in 2018, and shout out to the one Twitter user who saw my stuff off a reply, I think, to Richard Lewis's tweet about recording the day one Swiss system matchups for the Boston Major. I made some comment about like, oh yeah, this is totally what I do for my podcast. And some guy replied to me and was like, hey, love the stuff. Can you please upload it to Podbean so I can listen to it? So if you're listening to this now, just know I've seen you. I've recognized you. And I'm totally doing it on Podbean and I'm trying to get it up. So hopefully I get it up tonight. We'll see what happens. So yeah, so we're going to have a good show. I'm going to talk about my 2018 resolutions, what I'm looking to do, what I'm looking to see and try and do in the next year. I'm going to talk more about the future of the pod. Don't worry, it's all good. And yeah, we're going to talk about some Mountain Dew League action. I think they held like 4 freaking tournaments this weekend. It's like the grand finals for NA and EU, the Global Challenge, and then now they're doing the Relegation Playoffs. So that's going to be a lot. Fortunately, it's still playing now as I'm recording, and even when you're listening to this, it'll still be going on. So definitely take a listen. So yeah, so we're going to get into it. Stick with it. All right, that was music by Sean. A little bit more chill, a little bit more tempered than how sometimes I am. I'm usually very excited. I'm an excited person all the time. It's crazy. I have a lot of energy. So that's music by Sean. That's hopefully going to be the intro forever until maybe I find some new music and I can use that. But yeah, so Sean's a cool guy. I'm not going to say his real name and all that stuff, but that's the artist. Knew him in high school, has been producing music now. Super cool guy. Love him. Shout out to you, Sean. All of his links should be in the description for whatever system, carrier you're listening to the podcast on. So all that'll be in there. So you definitely should go check him out. He's on Spotify. Great guy. Alrighty, so we are going to get into 2018 resolutions. And let me just tell you a little bit about what's going on maybe with my life and all that fun stuff. So if you don't want to hear about my life, I think you should skip ahead like 5 minutes or skip ahead to whenever. But yeah, I think it's interesting. It's my life. I like to talk about it. So reasons for not a lot of podcasts. I've had crazy amounts of work, unfortunately. Just dealing with deadlines and dealing with all this stuff in real world time. So I've had to rush a lot of stuff on that. Haven't been paying attention to the pod. Haven't been doing all that stuff. So a little bit sad. I also haven't really been taking good care of myself in terms of like the living space in my apartment. So it's been a process this past weekend. And basically since a little bit before Christmas break, I've had a lot of time to be able to be with my girlfriend, who I haven't seen in 4 months because she has been abroad in an entire different continent. So it was good to see her. She came back to my apartment with me after a week's vacation in Belize with me and my family. And she and I basically cleaned my entire room, did all my laundry, cleaned out the closet, cleaned out the dressers, cleaned the whole thing. It was great. It was actually really cathartic. So definitely do that if you guys are ever feeling like in a rut. Just start cleaning shit. It like makes you physically feel better. Definitely recommend. But I'm lazy as shit, so I only do it when she comes around. It's pretty bad. All right. So I was in Belize for about a week, basically just relaxing. I tried to really unplug, didn't take a computer down with me, only had my phone, had spotty Wi-Fi, and it was good to unplug. It was good to just kind of take a step back and really focus on myself, my health, what I'm looking forward to doing in 2018, and having now a full first year as being a real adult. Some of you know I graduated from college back in May, sometime around there, and I'm now working full time and now kind of being a real adult, which is scary, but also a lot of fun. So I'm trying to get my head around it. And that's always really hard to really get your head around being an adult, especially when you see bills come in and you're like, oh, I can't, that's not for my parents, that's for me. So it's a little scary, but I'm getting used to it. And so 2017 was rough. That was a big adjustment period, especially for the first 6 months. And then I picked up this podcast to try and do something more fun. And that was also kind of a time challenge, but it's been good. And so now I'm back. I'm back, bitches. I'm ready to take on 2018. One of the big resolutions that I actually have for myself and for the podcast is to produce more content. So, and with that being a second resolution, I want to be more consistent. So podcasts are going to be coming every Monday. That is my promise to you. I'm really going to be trying to do that. I'm going to be scheduling better. I'm going to be just doing better as a human being, especially because this is fun. I like to talk about CS. I like it when some of you guys reach out to me and talk to me and follow me and just want to hear what I have to say. I want to hear from you guys too. Sometimes I feel like this is a one-way conversation, but this is just a good place to start a dialogue. So that's really what I'm looking to do. I hope other people join with me and do it. So if you follow me, just reach out to me on Twitter. Talk shit things with me. Just shit post and all that fun stuff. I like it. So I want to produce more content. I've been thinking about creating a YouTube channel and a Twitch channel. Hopefully when I get better at this, where I can do it all in one go. So I'd live stream it. I would record it and then kind of have that whole system and thing. And then especially on YouTube, it allows me to do more video editing, and I can do stuff like analytical work where I take player demos and go through them and bring up more points that I think are, valid in criticism, or bring up cool plays that happened over the weekend, stuff like that. So I'm looking into doing that. That obviously takes more time, but it's fun. It might be cool. I'm also thinking of trying to push out 2 shows. The main thing is to push out 1 show at least every Monday. But I might be trying to do more shows and trying to release them like on a Friday. And that way you have a Friday and a Monday, where the Monday is a wrap-up of the weekend's action, because usually all the tournaments are held on the weekends. And then the Friday is more of like, these are the news, these are transfer stories, these are analytical things that I'm thinking about, whatever. So it might also be a good avenue to have things separate from being news and from cool interviews that I'm doing. And so that also goes on to a further point is I'm looking to do more interviews. I have a couple lined up when I go up to Boston for the major. I have some others that I've been working on, and one that's actually really in the works, and that's with The Truth, CSGO. I was supposed to release the podcast with him before the new year, but because going to Belize and because of travel and because of just so many reasons, we weren't able to do that. So hopefully I'll be able to get that out soon, so that should be fun. Alrighty. Oh, and then the last one is I think I'm going to start writing. I'm going to try and maybe post on Medium, try and do that whole fun stuff. and then try and get that published onto some CS websites. The ones that cover like news stories and things like that. Things like Flickshot, HLTV. So we'll see how that goes. I know no one there. I've talked to Nell maybe 1 or 2 times. So we'll see what happens. Maybe try and work with Decay. Maybe see if he's open to putting his site up for more analytical work or contributing writers. Who knows? I think that'd be a cool idea. I think I'll go DM him about that. Alrighty. So that's kind of been what's going on with my life. It's been hectic recently, but I am more determined than ever now to really get down and get to it. I'm excited. 2018. Bring it on, guys. This is the year, and I think especially now, you just got to go for it. Just really get your head down and nose to the grindstone. I have a lot of resolutions personally, and I have some for these podcasts, but I think it's good also if you feel overwhelmed, have like 1 or 2, and just try and do that for like per month. That way you have the short-term goals that you feel are very achievable. I feel like, to me, trying to produce more content and being more consistent, that's an achievable goal, as long as I really schedule myself. And so once I do that, then I can move on to something else and keep building and building and building. And that's really where it is. You don't want to try and do everything all at once. You just want to build. So, life advice by me. Alrighty, so getting into this past week's action. I've been out. I've been in Belize. I haven't seen anything, but I've heard about it. I've read about it. I've kind of been following along. The MDL LAN that's been happening this past week in New York basically takes the top 4 teams from the ESL Mountain Dew League from North America and from EU. And they take the teams and they're holding a bunch of different events. One of those is the grand finals for their respective leagues. And that is for North America. It was between Soar Gaming and Rise Nation. Soar ended up winning against Rise Nation. And by winning, they now have earned a spot in the ESL Pro League. The way that worked was the bottom team in the ESL Pro League was relegated. No playoff or anything like that, just straight relegated. Or if a team just didn't exist, like if the team disbanded or dropped out, then when it moved down, there's just an open spot. So Soar Gaming now gets an automatic entry into ESL Pro League. So the main core, I think it's going to be like the main 3 players, or you need at least 3 players of the current iteration of the squad to play in ESL Pro League for next season. So it'll be interesting to see how they do in ESL Pro League. Usually it's been very hard for teams moving up from MDL to be successful in ESL Pro League. But I'm hopeful for these guys. Some of them are really young. Snakes is like 15. And because of a new ESEA rule, he won't be able to play next year. He has to play in Maine. I'm unreasonably mad about that decision. It doesn't seem to be logical, really. Except for like labor laws and shit like that. So like maybe logical, but like I can still be mad. I'm still mad. I'm still bitter. But yeah, so Soar Gaming is going to be playing in ESL Pro League. So congratulations to them. Rise Nation is another squad that put up a hell of a fight, and I think they're going to still run MDL next season, and the season after that until they get into ESL Pro League, or until that team is picked apart and players join ESL Pro League teams. I think that's what you really might see. MDL seems to be just kind of this breeding ground for more teams, for players to join like the bigger teams, and as they try and fit all the puzzle pieces together. In EU, AGO, which is one of the teams from Poland. I think some people say they're the second best Polish team. There's a crazy growing Polish scene now. I think especially because of Virtus Pro, but it's really cool to see. So AGO is now going to be in ESL Pro League. Virtus Pro is not, which is, God damn it. So AGO is going to be in Pro League, and that's awesome. I think it's good to see that there's another Polish team out there that can really hang with the big boys. Hopefully they do. Hopefully they don't absolutely suck. I mean, it's weird. In EU, you have a bunch of teams that just are not good online. They're really good on LAN, so we'll see how that goes for AGO if they actually do better than what people expect. Because Navi's playing relegation matches. Like, they had to travel to New York to play relegation matches. Like, that's, God damn. I feel like the world's just crazy sometimes. So AGO was in it. They beat Exodus 2-0. And they will now get more sponsorships and money, and those kids should definitely be proud of. I think it's been the same like core 5 Polish players for a while. I know they're all Polish, so it's pretty cool to see some of those national teams still do well, even in the face of these mixed EU teams. But also, congrats to Ecstatis. They're from Czechia, and they had, I think they're one of the best like Czechia teams ever could be, I think. Also, to anyone that thinks that sounds weird, no, Czechia is the name now. It's not Czech Republic, which is crazy. They recently changed it, I think like a year ago. They didn't really tell anyone. They just were like, yeah, we're Czechia now. Everyone's like, all right. So yeah, so I'm trying to use it because it's their name. But so yeah. So Ecstatis, they I think got into the HLTV top 30 recently. So huge congrats to them. So now after those grand finals that you had, you also have the Global Challenge. And the Global Challenge is where they take the top 4 ESEA MDL teams from NA and EU. And you basically do a whole face-off. I think they did a round-robin style format for this tournament. And the EU sides just kind of were dominant. Like it wasn't even close. AGO won the Global Challenge over Space Soldiers. So they got a prize of like 18,000. There was no ESL Pro League spots up for grabs at this point. So I don't think teams cared as much. They were really caring about the relegation matches or the grand finals for the season. But it was still nonetheless cool to see how Tier 2 teams do against, NA and EU teams. One disappointing thing was GX. I think a lot of people were expecting GX to just kind of dominate. There was a lot of hype for them, especially when they first came into the scene, and it was like, Days, this team, it's XI by power. Swag, AZK, who the hell else is on there? Whitmer's on there, Pollo, Dapper, all those guys. There was a lot of hype around them, but this LAN, especially even just watch, and I've watched a little bit today in the relegation matches, and it just shows that they have an experience. It really, and it's unfortunate. It's just they've been out of the game for too long, and I think they missed that peak. But they'll get there, and I really do believe that. I think Swag will definitely get there. He's still like 21 years old. He's still mad young, and he has the time. He has the ability. He has the chances to do it. So I think him in that team, along with others, and hopefully they get better players. I see Swag definitely making a move to try and get onto a better team, but those players are definitely going to end up in ESL Pro League in the next 2-3 years. It's just going to happen. Maybe not as together as this 5-some, but they should. But overall, I think their losses speak more to just a kind of inexperience on LAN recently, and inexperience together on a LAN. So I think that'll change. I think that'll change as time goes on. Again, this team just joined like this year back into competitive play, especially with Swag and AZK. AZK having playing Overwatch for the past like 2 years. Like the fact that they're doing so well is pretty remarkable. So that was the Global Challenge. There wasn't a whole lot of prize money for that, which was a little sad. So right now the relegation matches are happening. Unfortunately, the EU relegation matches actually have to be postponed because there was a huge storm in New York. Some people know this as the bomb cyclone. I hate the hype about it. I hated the hype about this storm because as someone who follows weather and knows it a bit, the power of the storm was pretty interesting because it was a low-pressure system that combined with a high-pressure system to create what it was basically a Category 3 hurricane that came up to New England. Like, it had the power and when I say power, it means, like, pressure of millibars. The lower the pressure in a system, in a storm, the greater, the more powerful it is. So, like, hurricanes, the ones that, like, hit Puerto Rico and Florida and all those stuff, they had, like, really low pressure in, like, the 900, like, 930s. So this storm had the same kind of low pressure, and everyone got hyped and crazy about it. But it dumped quite a bit of snow, but it wasn't like as destructive as many people thought. So it's just really been the cold. It's been like so friggin' cold. It's been like in the single digits Fahrenheit, which I think is like something like -10 Celsius. Definitely absurd. So that's been the main concern for a lot of people in the Northeast. Anyways, moving on. So who was it? Oh God, the Ecstatis and Godsent matches actually had to be postponed because Godsent couldn't come to the LAN because their plane got told to be like turn around. Like they couldn't make it because they were gone. But it's also weird that Godsent is still having to play relegation matches when Znader and Dennis are off the team. Like the team is dead. Like they shouldn't have to play. Ecstatis should just get the next. Like they should just go ahead and see if they get it. It's a little upsetting because I'm bitter that teams that basically die after the season is over, or, in the middle of the season, still have the chance to like limp it out. But whatever, I'm not mad, just a little mad. The other interesting thing that has come out has been that ESEA is making a age requirement, which appears to have to be due to labor laws and financial compensation for professional teams. And this is due to esports organizations getting more money and being able to pay their players. You're seeing younger players getting more money than they've ever had to deal with. And if esports and if Counter-Strike wants to be, very legitimate and totally kosher, and I think ESEA wants to make it sure that it's that way, then they have to have certain age requirements. There is discussion of whether or not they can just get parent signatures to sign off on like, yeah, this is okay, like it's totally fine, like I understand what's happening. But I think as a general rule, they're now making it be that bottom level so that there is a consistency overall of different tournament organizers. There is a consistency and to let others know that, I guess, is the plan. But it just kind of sucks for players like Snakes on Soar Gaming who now have to play in ESEA main to stay competitive. And they earned the rightful spot into the ESL Pro League. Like, they earned that. They were one of the best players. And players like Sum, who is another 15-year-old who's, like, really nutty. He's been in rank S, and, like, other pros have, think he's been really good, but definitely a little immature. But who isn't at fucking 15? Like, give the kid a break. He's 15. He's fucking nutty and playing with pros. Like, yeah, he has a big ego. Like, we understand it. Just let him know that he can't swing his big dick around because his balls probably haven't dropped yet. No, that's so bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you ever listen to this. But yeah, so they're doing the age requirement. I'm mad about it because I think it robs players of a fair shake, especially ones that are qualifying this season. Snakes qualified for ESL Pro League, and he rightfully deserves that spot, and he rightfully deserves any money that should come from it, but he won't get it because the team will likely drop him. Soar Gaming will likely drop him because he literally can't play. So what use is he? And it makes sense from an organizational and from a financial standpoint, but it just hurts. It hurts emotionally. So that's really sad. So I feel bad for him. One more thing that I wanted to talk about today is roster locks. I think I may have touched this on an earlier pod. I may have just started recording and I never released it for a pod. I think roster locks are important. I really do. I think they're important. I understand why they're important, and I'm fully in support of them. I think having such strict roster locks that they can kill a team's chances of going to a major tournament is not good. I think if you have a situation like Tyloo, who, as you guys probably know, is not going to the major now. They had to rescind because Peacemaker, oh my God, I'm going to get to that situation in a moment. I'll really talk about it in a moment because there's been a lot of back and forth. So I'll do that in a little bit later. But for right now, getting on this. So Tyloo, BTNET couldn't, God, I never know how to say his name. Bitnet, whatever. You know who he is, right? The guy that everyone on Reddit jokes is actually Polish. So his visa for the U.S. was not approved for whatever unknown reasons. So because his visa wasn't approved, he wasn't able to go to Boston to go play in the major. So Tyloo had to go play with Peacemaker, who was the only other player that was or only other individual that was registered with the team to like be a backup or play for the team. And that's because he was registered as the coach during the minor qualifiers. Now with that, Peacemaker is now just the only player that could like be there. But he was already fired or quit or what. I'll get into it. He now is with Heroic. And there was some back and forth, and then Peacemaker was like, yeah, I'll join. Yeah, I'll do it. And he's like, I want a sticker. And everyone was like, yeah, you should kind of get a sticker. You're going to be a player. And then Valve didn't release a sticker. And then then there was major issues after that. So he was like, I'm not playing anymore. So now Tyloo has 4 players and no coach to help them. In this kind of situation where you're literally not asking for someone to just jump in, you're not trying to seek an advantage by cutting a player who rightfully earned it. There were limitations that actually forced the player from not being able to be there. That is a problem. You can't have a roster lock and not allow then someone else to come in who did not play in a minor, who did not play in the major qualifier. Like if you can have someone who didn't play in those other like minor system structures, you can bring that. I feel that you should be able to bring that player in, especially when it's not a roster change because of whatever. Right? It's a roster change because they need to do it in order to play because the player is prevented because of these abnormal situations. If you look at Astralis, the same kind of issue is happening right now with Device and Zonic. It appears that Zonic may have to play in place of Device because Device is sick. He's physically ill. I think it's some crazy thing that's going on with him, and it's really been affecting his health. So all hope to that guy. But that's a situation of where I feel that you should be allowed to bring someone in. It should not be someone that played in the offline minor qualifier, but it could be anyone, right? And so from that situation, that's where it's literally not dropping the player because he's not good. They're not playing him because he physically cannot. And that again is a situation where he should play. Now, when you look at SK and Liquid, no, I'm not in agreement that they should be able to get a replacement player, right? Stanislaw helped that team get through the minor qualifier, and then he was cut. No, you don't get to have a replacement player for that because that's an actual roster change. You know that when you are going through the minor like this is going to have to be your team, and if you make a roster change fully knowing that, then you have to suffer those consequences. And so I think that's right that Steele can't play in the major, unfortunately, because he wasn't part of the team that got the team there. Who knows how the results would have been if Steele was part of Team Liquid in place of Stanislaw when they did it. They might not have qualified. But for people to go ahead and be like, oh no, Steele should play, this should be good, I don't think that's fairly competitive. You're bringing in someone new to have an advantage after a system of where another individual contributed to that qualification process. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Like, Stan helped get this team to the major. He should play. Because they dropped him, he cannot play. The team that dropped him should not be able to pick someone else up now that they're at the major to play. So Zeus is going to have to play. He joked that he'd been doing a lot of deathmatch. That team is going to bomb so fucking hard. That team is going to bomb so fucking hard. I honestly can't wait. I'm just mad that they did that to Stan. I'm mad about the whole situation. I like Team Liquid. I really do. I just think it's kind of dickish to kick a guy after he got you through after he helped you through the minor qualifiers, you know? And then also with SK, yeah, Phelps has to play. You can't play with Bolt because, how did they get through the minor? No, they don't get through the minor because they're legends, right? So they're legends. Bolt can't play because he's already roster locked because he played in the minor qualifier. Yeah, that one's a little bit more tough, actually, in full honesty. Phelps kind of dropped himself, and that's where they took on Bolts. Yeah, actually, I don't really know. Fuck. That one's hard. I think I'm undecided on that one. But I'm kind of leaning towards it's kind of fair. Like he played in the online minor qualifier for the tournament. No, yeah, he did play in the online minor qualifier for the tournament, but it was a dead team. It was really a dead team. I think, and so, yeah, so maybe it's been kind of harsh for SK that Bolts can't play. Yeah, it definitely is harsh. But I don't like the statement that everyone thinks that SK is suddenly going to die because they're not playing with Phelps. Like, Phelps is still a really good player. He's been part of the team. He knows all the guys. It's not like they didn't win any tournaments without Phelps. I think they won like 3 championships with Phelps. Like, this is a good team. This is a full team. Don't think of this as a team with a stand-in. This is a team with one of their full players. So that's my mind. I think SK is going to be fine. I think they're still going to run the table. They're still going to be a fucking dominant team there. So that should be fine. But yeah, I think roster locks are good. I think we saw the situation in the Loot Bet Cup with Mousesports and Simple. Simple just came in and like fucking smurfed against like everyone because Oscar couldn't be there because he took a vacation. Like it was kind of absurd that you had different players coming in, filling in just for the tournament, and they were better than some of like players on Mousesports. And that's what kind of irritates me about it. You can't just have a player just like come in, drop in for a game, and then leave. The player, if you're going to stand in, you have to stand in for the whole tournament. Like that has to be the deal, and you as a team have to acknowledge that. Simple coming in and just smurfing on everyone is basically like, okay, it seems like it cheapens the system, you know? And this is where I've always been a huge fan of like having a sixth, having a substitute, or having a coach that can actually really play. Like I think that's valuable. I think you need that. If anything more, just to bring up more competitiveness within the team itself. But, you know, who the fuck am I but a guy with 33 Twitter followers? No, I think that the Loot Bet Cup is one of the biggest advertisements for, or one of the biggest supporting arguments for roster locks. It just showed how horrible a tournament or system could be when you drop a player and you get someone else who wants to play in there for fun and is like extremely better. Like imagine in a tier 2 North American tournament, you're having a player suddenly drop out and look who comes along but like fucking Stewie or Tarek coming in and you're playing.
Idea about that. So that's how they were able to introduce that so easily.
Yeah.
Okay, so then why the fuck don't they do coach stickers for like Zeus since they have them, right?
As far as I know, they have them, but it's Valve. I don't know. Because I remember they asked Tyloo, they asked Peacemaker for his bank account information, and they asked for his signature. And
right, I think he posted that in a twit longer.
Yes, he did, and he didn't get a sticker, and I was like, I mean, I feel bad for him because like I would want my own sticker, but
yeah. Well, I mean, what's also interesting is Stanislaw has a sticker.
I mean,
Stan has a Stan of Team Liquid, or not really Team Liquid anymore, has a sticker.
who's the other one
that's
that
a little
has
crazy.
Everyone
gets a sticker.
Everyone
gets a sticker.
has a sticker, and he wasn't in the.
Oh, R.I.P. R.I.P.
Do you remember Columbus? Pith had a sticker, but then he couldn't go to the major.
Yep, that's right too.
It's happened a number of times. I think.
God, that's so crazy.
There's another one. I thought there was another one here at this major that should have gotten a sticker but didn't. But I don't think so.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I can't think off the top of my head.
Ben 10 and Stanislaw, they got their stickers.
Phelps has the sticker. Does Phelps has the sticker, right? Yeah, because they're playing with him because they can play with bolts.
Yeah.
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 So Tyloo stickers, so they became contraband.
They became basically contraband.
Okay, so then what happened after? Like, I know that when I pay for stickers, I have to pay like $1 to use them for the pick'em. Is it kind of like skins where you can like trade the prices of stickers and stuff like that?
Stickers you can. I mean, they're just like skins. So like until you place a sticker on the skin, you can you can trade
buy or
it
sell it.
You can buy or sell whatever. Once it's on the skin, depending on its worth, like you know those Callaway say 2014 stickers.
Yeah.
Those are worth a percentage. So like if you have a iBuy Power Hollow on the front part of the AK and it's like a red line and it has the red line has a really good float. It's like 0.16 or not 0.16. It's like 0.11 for minimal wear. That's the best one I think you can get.
Okay.
If you get all that and it's like it looks nice, you have like 10% of the iBuyPower sticker. So you would just take the 10% of whatever, like, so if it's, I think it's $6,000 right now, so 10%.
Holy shit! Are you kidding me?
No, it's
$6,000 for a fucking in-game item?
I mean, that's nothing, really. You should see how much some of this shit goes for.
Okay, so what's a dragon lore? I keep hearing about like a dragon lore.
2K?
How
2K for
2K?
for Factory now?
What the fuck?
Do you not gamble with
Jesus.
that?
No, I don't gamble with this in-game. I mean, I played CS. I want to say I played it for 2 years at this point. I never really got into skins or stickers or really anything. I only really got serious about, Counter-Strike in the past year or so. But I knew that there was CS gambling. I didn't realize these things are worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Okay, last 20 sold for iBuyPower Hollows. This is insane, really, because you can tell how little they get sold. The last one sold was $5,258.
What
And
the
that
shit?
was December 29th. And then if you go back to March 3rd, because that's within the last 20 on OP skins, it was $2,650.
What
So it's
the
gone up
absolute
that much
fuck?
in a year. The Titan Hollow is really expensive, whatnot. But it's like, if you put the sticker on, it's like 10% of its worth. Or not 10%. It's not a set percentage. It's just what
Right.
people say.
Holy shit! So I think Skadoodle has his AK is a red line with a iBuyPower like sticker on that.
It's
so
just
what
a
is
regular
what is that? Do
sticker.
you think?
It's probably, I don't know.
I think it might be a
honestly,
hollow.
It would honestly.
If it's a hollow,
I don't
how much would
know.
that be worth?
I don't know exactly. It would probably be. It's a red line. It's just an op red line with a.
No, it's not an op. It's an AK red line.
Oh, is it the AK?
AK stat track red line.
Is it on the front? I think.
Yeah,
so.
it's on the front.
If it's a hollow, it'd probably be worth about 90 keys. So 90 times 2, so $180 or something like that.
Yeah.
Plus whatever the skin's worth.
Damn.
It depends on the floats of the skin, so how nice it looks and whatnot. But
That's so crazy. That's
if
so
you wanna
crazy to
talk
me.
about skin, you look at Swag's AK red line, because that has 4x iBuyPower hollows.
Oh my god.
I think those are 50%
my
sticker costs.
Oh
each
my
sticker.
god.
So it's 50% of 5,200 times 4.
What the
And
fuck?
people buy this shit all the time.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy. About a month ago, I put $10 in to go buy like a couple skins. I bought what did I buy? I bought an AK that had some Cloud9 stickers on it. It had a nothing hollow. I bought a StatTrak M4 A1S. That's like the peace one, where it has like all that Vietnam War peace shit on it. Yeah. I thought like, right. Yeah, that one. And to hear that like people are spending more than like $10 a skin kind of blows my mind, especially when CS is like $15.
I mean, I used to have like $1,000 inventory. Like that's
Holy
that's nothing.
shit.
That's nothing. You don't understand.
What?
That's nothing.
What?
That's nothing.
How? How? I work full time as a grown ass man, and to have $1,000, I would want to cash that shit out so fast and pay some bills. Oh my god.
This is
$1,000 in an inventory in a game?
This is some people's full-time jobs. There's people like